Hello, friends. I just wanted to report that I actually did get the COVID-19 virus, and my symptoms started actually somewhere around March 10th. And at that time, I didn't realize I had it because I just had the slightest sore throat, and that can sometimes happen in wintertime. But where I really began to suspect that I had it was on the 20th when I started getting a slight tightness in my chest, and then I pretty much knew that I had it because I could tell it was something different, and I was having a little bit of shortness of breath, and then on the 21st, which was yesterday, so today is the 22nd. We I had a definite downturn in how I felt, and also while I would like to report a shining armor, brave dude attitude about it all, I actually was terrified at several points, and it was weird because I don't like freak out going oh my god, oh my god, but in my soul I could feel this just like a real dread, and I think some of it has to do with the fact that I've been watching the reports about it for a while, of people dropping in the streets and being thrown into ovens and everything. And then the fact that I know no matter what numbers they're spewing out, they don't shut down the entire United States and pay everybody to stay at home if this is smaller than the flu. Okay, so just use your common sense about some of the numbers that they're saying. Only old people die, and those kind of things. A recommendation that I have is the Sean Atwood channel. He was a fellow who went to jail on a drug charge and actually spent some serious time actually here in Arizona. He's an Englishman actually, and he is got a pretty good channel. It's got 400,000 plus subscribers, and yeah, so it's but he does a good job, I think, of telling the real truth, the common sense truth about what's going on. And he referred to me, one of the best sources of information, Dr. Paul COTTRELL, and I'll have the links down below. I sent it to my mailing list, but and put it in a few links in my Facebook and stuff. But that actually is, I believe, one of the more accurate sources, because this guy's like one of those fully versed genius type fellows who can really see the he looked at the genetic code of the virus and everything, and he said that there were 4 inserts of the HIV strain into it, and that one of the problems is that it can mutate and ping pong so that you can get a reoccurrence. So that's one of the additional huge problems with the coronavirus. So yeah, and they are also tightly controlling and monitoring the information. I noticed that they tried to block that video that this other guy had actually. Like I said, I'll put the link in the below. It's about an hour long, so it's kind of long and technical, but I think it's one of the best sources of information I've heard about it. And I'm no expert, but you can tell that these people know what they're talking about. It's not a deception. This guy knows about the genetics of it, and because I think that's all pretty much open source now. There's at least fairly good cooperation, and I know that there's a lot of deception, but I think that there are some things that you can trust, especially when if you're listening carefully and you realize what it would take. There's just almost no way that this guy is that the whole thing was a deception as far as his expertise and analysis of the genetic code of the issue. In short, actually, they do think that it is a created virus, and may not actually have been a weapon per se, but they were in the process of genetic tampering to find solutions, if not possibly working on a weapon. But whatever the case is, it was artificial, and then somehow it got out. And it's possible that it was an accident, possible that they did it on purpose. But what I did hear from another source that Sean Atwood was saying is that they have aerosolized it, and so that's one reason why it's spreading across the the globe so quickly. And then another good analysis that I saw was on the Kim Aversion channel, where she did a good comparison of the numbers and where it looks like they're actually targeting nations, with Iran being a huge hotspot and Italy being a huge hotspot. And if you look at the nations around, they don't have nearly as many cases, and it's possible due to different policies of closed borders, but it looks like targeting. So yeah, I do have to admit to having some pretty serious moments of paranoia and negativity in my thoughts, which does tend to happen to me. I'm not the calmest person in the world. I try to be cool as I can and at least show little balls, but things do freak me out, and the watching people collapse from suffocating and the looking at the what looks like glass in people's lungs doesn't exactly give me the most inspiring confidence for an easy death if you get this, and I surely got it. I know I would test positive if I were to take the test, and I would also comment that I do not know of anything in particular how I would have gotten it. So there's a million things it could be. It could have even just be from walking outside, because I hear that they're aerosolizing it. As I said, Sean Atwood seems to have some information about that. A lot of people sending him information about it. But it's definitely a cause of reflection. Yes, it could have been a reproof, even though it's, you might say it's a plague going around, but I still, look at everything, could it be a reproof? And I take it as a general reproof of my life, because I am a sinner. I do have sin in my life. I do have all kinds of evil thoughts and things that I do wrong, and things that could stand improving, and so it's an opportunity to look at my life. And a couple of things that stand out for me, just to give you an example of reflecting and considering improvement. And I have big things, so it's kind of easy for me, right? Okay, but one of them is bitterness, and I've just had so much bitterness, and towards my family and towards people in my life that have sinned against me. And there's so much anger and darkness there that's in my soul that I don't think that I'm, like really uncool as far as like, dealing with people, because I'm pretty like, I would be affectionate and warm to anybody and be friendly towards them. And I have one thing I do have is, the ability to be friendly, to be cool, even to people that, may not be the nicest people, and just be friendly and cool, and don't be, sour and bitter and have a sourpuss all the time like a lot of people do, or prejudge. But I would say one area, like one thing is, some people I've talked with have said that they think that homeless people are often very enlightened, or they seem like better people in some ways. But I have to tell you that that's not my experience. My experience is they tend to be like the biggest scum. And the worst problem that I had while homeless is other people that are homeless that are not homeless for the reasons that I believe I am necessarily, although I shouldn't judge better or worse, but they are in fact either mentally incompetent or emotionally damaged, and their consciousness is such that it's difficult for them to function, but it also makes it difficult for them to just be cool and not be disruptive and leaving trash and getting, out of control emotionally and all kinds of things like that. And generally also just, plagued with demons to an extent that they are beleaguered from even just being cool. Like if you're just, sleeping in a tent or sleeping in your car or whatever. And so it's a very serious problem. But so what I was going to say as far as one of my flaws is that I tend to judge them very negatively. And in particular, just as an example, there's one man who, in my local hometown here in Woodland Hills, he walks around and that's all he does. And he manages to shave and he manages to eat and go to the bathroom and everything. But he has to wear dirty clothes all the time, and he just like carries a little bag of his clothes or whatever. I don't even know where he sleeps, like maybe he does have an indoor place or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen him sleep, but just the fact that he can't wear a pair of pants that's clean and that fit, and then a couple of times, like he said hi to me, and I didn't want to say hi to him, and because I judged him negatively, and I don't want to associate with him because he can't even just, fine, just at least find a clean pair of pants and a shirt, like dirty, like literally like just nasty dirt and crap all over it. Now and again he'll do us a favor and wear black pants so you can't even see it, but it's like I just don't want to. I don't want to show any kindness to him, and while I was thinking about getting ready to die here, not that I've had symptoms that bad. It's just that thinking about running out of air and suffocating and dying, and that whole thing of reviewing your life when you get to the point where you might kick the bucket from something. It gives you a chance to think about it. And I thought about, maybe I should give that guy a chance and say hi to him and try to be friendly. Maybe I can help him in some way instead of just being bitter and judgmental towards him. So a couple of guesses about how I might have contracted it is, and these are very vague kind of guesses, so this information is very, not very substantial as far as pinpointing anything, but I did go for a lot of walks, so I go for a walk every day just to get my exercise. Otherwise, my back hurts from sitting in this chair, sitting at the computer too long. And so I go for a walk, usually up to the mall, and so that may have been where I got it, because I would go to the mall even after the point where they were separating. This is where they still had open, coffee shops and stuff, but in the mall they were spreading the seats out 6 to 9 feet apart, and I was objecting to it. And then some other people were there too, and they were saying, what are you doing? Because they're taking the seats away, and every time you go there they start moving chairs. And I realized the last time I went there that even while it was still open, that it was no good going there anymore, because it's all weird and you can't really enjoy it. So I decided after that point that I wasn't going to go. But then they shut down all the coffee shops and everything. But it could have been at that point that somebody there, I actually at that point I was drinking tea, but it could have been sitting at those tables there where there was a lot of other contact, or it could have been as simple as going to the market or something like that. If I had if the sore throat that I had was on March 10th, that was even before they were doing the spacing of the seating, so the infection could have happened way before then. But it's almost pointless to pinpoint it. If I had any advice, one of the problems with what I'm going to do, just to let you know what I'm going to do about myself, I'm just going to self-quarantine. And I was thinking of calling the emergency center as I noticed my lungs starting to lose capacity, but it wasn't very serious. So just like a slight pain and just a slight shortness of breath, and reading the CDC guidelines as far as what to do about it. It doesn't say that you should call emergency unless you have continuous pressure on your chest, or your face is turning blue, or something else that's pretty serious. And since we don't want to overflood the system, and actually to be more honest about why, I don't want to spend as much time in the hospital, as little time in the hospital as I can. So I mean, I want to wait and see, because there's a possibility some people have recovered from it without needing to be hospitalized. And in fact, I think probably even most people in generally good health might be able to weather it out. So that's what I plan on doing. But if I do get a point where it looks like I'm wheezing pretty good, and it looks like it's getting pretty serious, I will call, and they will come and pick me up pretty quick. At least that's if the system isn't overwhelmed at that point. But otherwise, I'll just quietly die here, because the hospital's going to really suck. They're going to put you into quarantine. You're going to be in a plastic bag, and everybody's, it's just going to be, your life's really going to suck at that point. So, and in reality, as there's no cure, although they have one drug, chloramine or chlorotrine or something like that. That's actually a malaria drug that they say is successful for treating people. But that's mostly for, I think, people that are gasping for air because their lungs are so restricted from inflammation. So they can save you if you're going to die, and put a breathing tube down your throat and everything. Which is, I would probably do it, because when you're scared. I was talking to some friends and my girl Anna, and I said, if it gets there, I'm pretty sure I'll get scared and call. I'm not gonna, brave it out here. Fine, I'm gonna die here. No, I'll be, come get me, because I get pretty scared. But yeah. So sorry I couldn't be Mr. Brave, shining man in armor, man of God. I have faith in God that if I'm meant to die here quietly, I can do so in quiet dignity, being all calm. No, I do believe in everything, as I mentioned, but it doesn't mean that you don't get scared. So yeah, and suffocating, that's kind of a nasty way to go. Also, if you get I hear that you can get damage to your lungs, so it can be pretty scary. But I think actually, if you're in generally good health, which actually I'm not, I have a compromised respiratory system and digestive system, slightly, not terribly, but the digestive system is actually worse. I have something wrong with my pancreas or something. I'm not sure what it is, but I've had it for over 15 years. I don't know whether it's some kind of lesion or mild infection or something, but it also interferes with my digestion. I can't eat anything spicy whatsoever. I can't drink. And I think also I developed something as a result of smoking for so many years, not cigarettes, but marijuana, which I did heavily for over 10 years. And I finally quit because of a pain I started to get in my lungs, and then a paranoia that I would get, and severe dry throat, which I believe was a psychosomatic symptom. But in any case, so I do actually more easily cough, and sometimes I get a severe dry throat and need to take a cough drop on occasion. But I think it's also, some of it is spiritual, demonic, like a fear demon tightening my chest or something like that might be involved. And so I don't know what the full story is, but I do have an issue with my lung capacity. And so a couple of times that I've gotten a severe cold, which I usually don't get. That's why I knew I had the COVID virus, because I haven't had a cold in like 10 years. And so when I started to get these symptoms of tightening in my chest, I knew it was the COVID. But but when I do get a serious cold, it can really hurt in my lungs, because I think I did some damage. So any of you people that are smoking, I would recommend not doing so, because you'll be glad at a moment of crisis that you don't have to regret that in your youth you did so much damage to your lungs. And I convinced myself for years, because I love smoking weed. I did like actually smoking tobacco as well, but not very much, not nearly as much. I basically quit that early on. But the marijuana I continued for a long time, and because I really enjoyed the effect, and I really enjoyed it recreationally, because it really, I like to think about weird stuff, whatever. But I would tell anybody, and I would tell my kids or anybody's kids, that looking back on it, I just fooled myself. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't good for my lungs. It definitely caused damage. Definitely also was a sense of wasting time, when that's all I did to kind of enjoy and fill my life. And I just basically sat, in some ways, I mean, I did other stuff, but I mean, in a lot of ways, I just kind of vegged out and smoked out, and I never did it during the day, almost never. I mean, occasionally a friend of mine and I, my buddy Travis, we would, go out in the morning sometimes, but usually we like to wait until the evening. And so it's not like we're getting wasted during the day, but still, it's like you live for it in a way, and they say it's not addictive like alcohol. It's not true. It's very addictive. And so that's just my record of it, that if I had to do it over again, I would have not used it at all. You don't need it. You don't need that, and you don't need alcohol. There's plenty of cool, fun stuff to do, and you're just trying to get out, get an escape from reality. But in the end, it's actually just like the scripture says. It's a serpent that, in the end, it's bitter, and it bites you like a serpent, because it just takes a toll on your health. And meanwhile, you could have been doing fruitful stuff for the Lord, or good works for your fellow man, things that are fulfilling and that you feel good about. And so the fact of the matter is, I wasted a lot of my youth and my best, strongest energy. So as far as the who done it question, I really don't know, but I'll tell you a thought that I had about it, which is that early on, as thinking about it came into my mind, I thought that it was created by man, but it was released by the Lord as a judgment. And this goes against what a lot of people think, that it was, the Illuminati, and this is a plan of depopulation. And I'm not gonna, make a big argument. I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm sticking to this opinion really strongly. What I'm saying is that was a thought that came into my mind, that it was a created virus. The evidence suggests that it was, and then with the information, as I mentioned, from Dr. Paul COTTRELL, I think it is, but that it was actually a judgment of the Lord. It's one of the plagues poured out, as we see from Revelations, and this is the beginning. Because I don't think life is going to be the same after this point. It's pretty clear that I don't think that we're going to go back to the way reality was, because this is, I would say that not to cause panic, but and spread doubt and negativity, but I do think that this is more serious than what most people think, and that it is going to have a lasting effect, because the economy is having problems. I heard from somebody else. Somebody sent me an email that and to a movie link suggesting that the shortages that you're seeing in the market are actually artificial, and they're not putting the products back, like toilet paper, on purpose. And I have no idea if that's true or not, but it might be. But what makes me think that this could be kind of a change from the, you might say, the pleasant, happy-go-lucky world that was before, to a start of tribulation kind of vibe world, is that I think that the changes in the economy and the fear generated, especially between nations, that many are obviously wisely closed their borders, stopped all travel, and people are the world is now woken up to just how serious it is. I mean, by the time America is paying people to stay at home and not work, when they usually have the slave driving whip to our back, it means that more slaves are going to die if they keep out there working than if they stay at home and quarantine. So yeah, at that point, that the powers that shouldn't be, i.e. the reptilian rulers, they know that it's a game changer and very serious. So I would say don't panic shop, because I think that's only going to make things worse. Get as much as you need for now, and don't deplete the market and cause runs and hoarding and everything, because I'm pretty sure at this point now they're going to be rationing every time you go to the market. They were rationing over here in my end of Los Angeles, Woodland Hills, actually Calabasas, where I was doing my shopping. They only allow you 2 rolls of toilet paper, of paper towels, and there was no toilet paper, and there were lines to get in. There's a control line to get in, and not too bad, so you can get in. And they do have a lot of stuff, but you'll see all the shelves of frozen food are wiped out, and I don't see why they can't keep toilet paper and paper towels stocked. It just seems like there's more of a run on that, unless there's some people that are just going crazy and coming in and trying to wipe everything out. But I mean, I think that they could take trucks. The government could make sure that they up the percentage in all the major factories, and get that stuff out to the market. So there shouldn't be I don't think that they should have the problem that they have right now. So there may be some truth to what that guy was saying. I'm not sure. As far as blaming someone, like for instance the Chinese or the Americans or the Canadians, as several rumors have been going around, I don't think that's going to do any good at this point. I think that there's a possibility that it's actually a joint fault between America and China, and possibly Canada, but I have no idea. As far as thinking about it from the perspective of the Lord and what his involvement in it is, one thought about it is that even though this may be, for instance, if you think it's the Satanic Illuminati, which I don't actually think it is. I think that this was even a surprise to them, that this was not a designed event. I could be wrong, maybe it is. I'm just saying that it's just my opinion, my thought from what I've experienced and what I've felt about it, that actually the Illuminati, Satanic Cabal, whatever, even though I know they do have the Agenda 21, I'm aware of all that, the depopulation desire and so forth, and it could very easily. But somehow I feel like this might not be that, that in fact it was a judgment of the Lord, it was caused by the Lord, and of course, obviously, there's a lot of upset about that, like why would this happen? But one way to think about it is that an event of this scale, even if it was the Illuminati, part of their plan, Agenda 21, they had it all planned out and they did it this way and did it that way. The Lord is in control of all things, and surely he knew about it, and even if he didn't initiate it, he could have stopped it if he so desired. And I have to say that I think that even though they may have depopulation events planned, we do also know that the Lord has his own depopulation event planned. Even 2/3 of the population of Earth, as we see from Revelation, were wiped out by the plagues that are poured out onto the earth. So this could be just one of the first noticeable ones, or like I said, maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's once again Satan or the Illuminati or whatever, up to their evil tricks and getting the party started early. But once again, no matter how you think about it, either way, the Lord is in control. So this isn't an accident as far as the Lord is concerned. It isn't a surprise as far as the Lord is concerned. And as usual, it's the number one priority for you is your own soul and your own standing with the Lord. And the main thing is to be found righteous on your day, whatever it is. If you die from the disease, it's of the Lord. If you live till you're older, that's of the Lord. And the bottom line to it is that you will face death. And what's the story going to be? Have you done well to your fellow man? Have you obeyed Jesus and loved each other the way he loved us? And have you done the 10 commandments which he gave to us to follow as we are in the faith of Jesus Christ? So that's the real question, is your own personal righteousness. And I would say also to anybody listening that if you are afraid of dying, and if this has scared you to where you're starting to think about what you're going to do about God, what's going to happen when you die, now is as good a time as any. In fact, now is a very good time to come to the Lord. And you can do so very easily by asking. Just say a simple prayer like this, or any way that you want to say it to God. Here's the one I say, and that I've been telling people. Say this: Father in heaven, please save my soul by the work of your Son Jesus on the cross, and show me your pure words in the authorized King James Bible. If you will, show God that you want to submit to him by getting on your knees and saying a prayer like that, asking to be saved in the name of Jesus Christ. You now have the opportunity to go to heaven and not go where most people are going, unfortunately. According to witness Angelica Zambrano Moro, people are pouring down into hell like sand pours down into a hole. Thousands upon thousands of people pouring down there every day. So, and from what the things that are described there, you do not want to go there. It makes the worst pain and suffering here in the world look like nothing. You would beg for that instead of what you experience in that place. If you doubt me, look it up on YouTube. Just type in Hell Witness. That really opened up my eyes. I was a believer long before I saw any of that, but when I saw that, it really gave a picture, because the stories match. If you are a sleuth, if you're a policeman and you look at those videos, you can see the evidence matches of the things that they're describing, including Jesus when he goes down there. He weeps and he tells them, it's too late, it's too late. You had an opportunity while you lived. There's people down there screaming, Lord, please give me another chance. I want to go back. I want to do right this time. I want to do right this time. But it's too late once you go there. And the scripture is very clear. And you know, if you look at the authorized King James Bible and you look at it carefully, which I have for over 30 years, and I can tell you the Psalm 12:6 is true. The words of the Lord are pure. It describes all of this, and you will see that it is a more dire situation even than most people think. And the real issue is your soul. And the real issue is your standing of righteousness. How have you treated your fellow man? How have you treated your God? And how have you treated the salvation that was offered unto all men? The salvation in Jesus Christ is offered unto all men. All you have to do is believe in that story about Jesus dying on the cross, and you have the opportunity to be saved in his blood, which is shed for us. It's a sacrifice. It's a ceremony of sorts, which most people, including myself, don't understand the full mechanics of how it works, but basically it's a payment for our sin, for no man could live perfectly and fulfill the law perfectly. So all have sin, and sin causes death. Therefore, all of our souls are condemned to death, ultimate death, that is death in hell, rather than life in heaven. So when you receive that name, you can receive life in heaven. And I recommend that for anybody who has not done that. Do it, and do it now. Father in heaven, please save my soul by the work of your Son Jesus on the cross, and show me your pure words in the authorized King James Bible.